All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Let me just make sure that we are good. Welcome to Tech Thursdays. I am your host, Justin Burns. Let me know. Let me go ahead and just see if you guys can hear me below and if you can see me okay. We are going to jump into today's episode. I missed you guys. Sorry, we had, we had some tech issues and last week, but we are back. Then I had a summit the week before that, but I know you missed me. Post below if you missed Tech Thursdays. Let me know below if you missed Tech Thursdays. All right, let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. As you know, the message of Tech Thursdays is to talk about how the future isn't out there, forward all the way out there. The future is now. All right. Time is of the essence. And like I always like to tell people, you don't have as much time as you think that you have. All right. So you want to invest into the future. So the goal of this show, if you are new to the Future Is Now Tech Thursday shows, the goal of this show is just to give you insight into news that's happening. I usually also go over and talk about, ways that you can take advantage of the $4 trillion technology industry. And like I like to say, technology is becoming democratized. All right. That means that everyone has access to what is happening. And with democratization, there's a lot of things that is happening in the marketplace, like shakeups. All right. Which talks about let's talk about the first shakeup when it comes to Tech Thursdays. But I want to give you, before we kind of talk about the first story, I want to give you encouragement, right? And give you this encouragement that it doesn't matter what you see happening in the world. It doesn't matter what noise. Everybody on social media has an opinion. They have an agenda. What I mean by agenda doesn't sound necessarily bad until you take into context like that. If somebody is trying to sell a product or if somebody is trying to offer something, what they have can be biased, right? And bias comes with a cost. So you want to always be thinking about these things when you see an opinion. But the biggest thing is whether you are just starting off in the tech space, whatever it is, if you are in the tech space and let's just say, you're looking for work or whatever it is, because there's a lot of changes happening in the world. Change is good. And this is your destiny moment. So like my granny used to say, don't miss out on the greatest wealth transfer that is happening. All right. We are in that democratization zone of genius where you can build stuff. You just have to implement fast. For example, right now, we are building our own AI platform, AI coding platform. We are getting in the race, right? And so I'm excited about that. Post below if you are excited about that. But we are getting in the race of the AI coding space. And listen, we didn't raise any capital. We are self-funding this thing. And so now the goal is to balance innovation and structure and technology along with reaching something fast. So one of my messages to you today, if you are building something and you are, trying to get into this space, I want you to understand something unequivocally is that it is about speed up implementation and not overthinking things. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into some stories. I just wanted to give you some encouragement that doesn't matter what's happening in the world. Don't let it stop you from all the amazing things, especially, like I said, one of my missions is to democratize technology and also shift the pattern and shift the way that people think about tech, because we have the ability to create the next generation of companies with all the tools and everything that is happening. Let's jump into the first thing that is happening today. As you see here, Bending Spoons. This happened 2 days ago. Bending Spoon actually acquired Airtable in a $1.3 billion acquisition. $1.3 billion. All right, Bending Spoons. We actually went over, if you missed out on Tech Tuesdays episode number 2, All right, we talked about Bending Spoons. They are a acquisition company. They are acquiring companies that usually are on the downtrend, and they've been making way. Now you say, "Wow, what is it? What did they say? $1.3 billion acquisition," which sounds great, but I looked at this particular acquisition, and I don't believe, I don't necessarily know if they're going to make a profit, because I think they raised like $1 billion, right? So that's why I say, lessons in this, right? Lessons in this acquisition is that most people, like I said, you're going to hear people say, "Oh my God, software and SaaS is on the downtrend," and in some cases that's true. But I'm here to tell you that companies are still being acquired at record-breaking numbers as it relates to technology. Now, for us, the people that are building the future, the people that are using tools like Claude Code and apps built with AI and other tools, this is a giant opportunity to find, especially when you see, the lesson that I have for you is when you see a company that is being acquired, this gives you, look into why they are acquired. Look into the data. I don't even care if you even understand fully, but just make sure you're looking at the data points of why exactly did this acquisition happen. It gives you some insights into how to add that to what you're building, or it may give you some, insights into, hey, here's a tech stock that I can invest in, or it also gives you this perspective and a lens that also shows you where things are downtrending or uptrending. And so those things are critical. All right. What I will tell you is, like I've been telling you for the past couple episodes, we are living in the age of the AI agent. All right. So that just means that as these companies that you are seeing that are being acquired, what is going to end up happening is the AI agents are essentially starting to take shape, right? And so data platforms, if it's not giving valuable data, AI is just going to come up and take its lunch money. All right, like I'm telling you guys, like AI is going to completely decimate a lot of companies. All right, and so the great part about, like I tell you, and the biggest lesson in this for everybody who's listening to this and watching this, you're in a great position, because even if you built something, I tell people this all the time, the greatest opportunity is to bootstrap, right? Most people don't agree with me. They think that they have to raise a bunch of capital, but I think we were building our platform Maestro. I'm just telling you, like, we didn't raise a bunch of money. We focused on selling and marketing. So as you look at some of these companies, you might see the headline say $1 billion, $2 billion acquisition, but you got to look deeper. Like, they may have raised $1 billion and sold it for $1 billion, which a lot of these companies, that's what I notice in technology. They raise a bunch of capital and then they lose a bunch of money. Okay, so that's why you have an advantage today. And that's what these industries are absolutely afraid of. They're afraid to know that we can actually build these things with some effort and being creative. All right, so that is the first story. All right, I'm going to cover a few other ones as well. Make sure, if you haven't, man, make sure you have it. I just want to tell you guys this. We appreciate everybody who always watches Tech Thursdays, because I'm going to give you some insights into some amazing things. Make sure you subscribe to the Justin Burns channel, man. I got some amazing content that's going to be going over the future, which of course the future is now, as you heard me say many times. All right, let's jump into a few other things that's happening. All right, what is happening right now is that, as you know, there is an AI war, all right, which is in our benefit because we get to get innovation fast. All right, but the CEO of NVIDIA, which is Jensen Huang, I always butcher his last name, he actually said this. He sent this first tweet to announce the Open Secure AI Alliance, which is backed by 77 companies. All right. So Jensen's argument is that the world needs open source models just as much as closed. But if you look closely, this is a actual brilliant business strategy, because NVIDIA actually dominates the bottom of the stack, the GPUs. And the rule of business is to commoditize your complement. All right. So by pushing open source AI, NVIDIA is trying to drive the cost of the AI models to zero, which means, watch this, all the profits will accumulate at the hardware layer. But what I'm here to tell you is that the goal of that, and I think the thing to take from that is that technology is going to, you often hear people say this, and I don't think that they truly understand technology. But what I will tell you is that technology is going to get very much so cheaper, guys. Like that's what that is my prediction. Most people think that technology is going to get more expensive. I completely disagree. And looking at a lot of future datas and a lot of analysis, I don't believe that technology is going to get crazy expensive. I believe that is in terms of a lot of people talking about data centers. And of course, data centers is terrible for a lot of communities. But I believe in looking at some of the futurism and the things that are happening, I believe that there are going to be new energy technology that's going to be discovered. This is just a prediction that's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of new energy technology that is going to be discovered. I'm excited. Most people don't know that, right? Like there's so much energy, like guys, there's so much energy in the world. Like we allow for people to fill our heads with a bunch of junk to make it seem like there's not enough abundance and energy is scarce. And of course, there's scarce from the complex that's being built and baked into these machines. But what I'm telling you is that there's just, that's the point of technology. Technology grows. So people are saying there's not going to be enough energy in the next 10 years. Do you guys think, post below, do you think that there's not going to be energy sources that are created? If you don't, then you've been living under a rock. Okay. Now, like I said, NVIDIA is trying to make more money. They're trying to, if you don't know what open source is, it just means that it's more overflowing, right? It doesn't cost as much. There's access to more software. So NVIDIA is actually betting on what IBM actually did in the 90s, which is to essentially make more money on hardware. All right. They're trying to run that same play. Okay. But this opened things up to more possibilities, and it allows for people, because it may backfire, right? And so as you guys are seeing, there is some new models that are happening in the world. And so you have to watch, because the AI, as the AI space heats up, there is a country, if you guys can guess what it is, there is a country that is on it AI heels. All right. And that's what I said. The great part for us who's building on AI, or if you're building on top of AI, if you have AI agents injected into your business, what I will tell you is that as competition heats up, costs are going to go down, in my opinion. Most people think it's going to get more expensive. I disagree. I believe that technology will end up getting a little bit cheaper in terms of what it costs to host. When I used to host Maestro, it was costing like thousands of dollars. And so depending on who you host with, but now there's other platforms like is it Netflix? Yeah, Netflix, and also Vercel, that are server based, and they're a little bit cheaper. Because as you guys know about Claude, or you know about OpenAI, what I will tell you is the agentic works. For example, as you can see here, this is what's coming and already here, based on if you put the cost data and you also put the output of these AI models. This is a tool called Kimi. If you haven't heard of Kimi, this is from China, and they're even saying like Kimi is catching up to the output of Claude and also OpenAI. So listen, we got some, as competition heats up, we get cheaper models. I mean, right now we are using APIs, and APIs cost a lot, But some of these companies like Claude, and as much as I love when companies like Claude go global, it shows that sometimes what ends up happening is like these companies become so capitalistic that they forget about the users. And then they're trying to please what? Shareholders, and they're trying to please other people. They forget about who their target customers are. And so again, like this is something to learn, a valuable lesson is if you think that technology is going to get more expensive, I would challenge you to say that that isn't true. In my opinion, I will make a futuristic, bold assessment that technology is going to get much cheaper because there's going to be a lot of open AI models. And then you have Kimi, which is a Chinese-based company that, again, the outputs is similar to Claude and also open AI. So you got a race. All right. I'm excited about it. And that means that, again, you stay on top of these things. If you stay on top of the trends, you don't become a part of the future person that gets eaten alive. Right. I feel like what happens with a lot of these companies, and especially in technology space, they get cocky. Right. They think that nobody can touch them. And I'm here to say, like, because of the democratization of us being able to build out these tools ourselves, but also, like I said, that the cost is not as expensive to duplicate, even if, let's just say, a platform takes more than just vibe coding. Even if, like, there's just even the technology we're building now, like, to compete with some of the $500 million companies, it's not as expensive as it used to be. You just have to, like, again, everything is about a system and knowing what you're doing. All right, let's talk about the next segment, which is regulatory capture in real time. All right. Speaking of model makers getting squeezed in Washington, obviously, as OpenAI and Anthropic go towards their valuations, there is going to be a lot of government mandates that's happening. All right. So this is what I like to refer to as regulatory capture. All right. So as you know, as industries become bigger, right? So think about the railroad industry. There was what we call a regulatory capture. Banks went through it. Telecom companies go through it. So now AI has been the wild, wild west for many, many years. Okay. There was no way to regulate it because boom, an AI company pops up. But now OpenAI and Anthropic, they kind of have that regulatory moat that they have to go through. And also there's some benefits to being in terms of that regulatory process, which is they sort of corner that market where they get to profit from it because they have the backing of the government, right? So what I will tell you is most people think this is just about policing AI, but it's really not about policing AI. It's essentially about regulatory can give you kind of like that covering, right? It's about the safety versus the profit overlap, right? So the safety argument and economic self-interest are perfectly overlap each other, right? And so you have that going to happen. You are going to see that happen way, way more often, where there's going to be this conversational dialogue about, what they do politically, where they say safety argument versus that kind of like economic self-interest. All right, let's move on to the next topic, which is politics in terms of futurism. All right, which is, as you guys are going to see along the lines of regulatory things that are happening, is that there's going to be a lot of hardware AI that meets software AI, like Neuralink from Elon Musk is starting to gain more popularity. So in terms of the robotic space, in terms of the tech space, we are going to see a progression that's happening in real time. I like to always talk about software, but I also want you to know this is that you are going to see you're going to see basically an acceleration of futurism in the next year. Okay. There is a company called Science Corporation that is accelerating this. So you're going to see, and that's why I tell people all the time in terms of futurism, in our lifetime, you are going to see such a rapid acceleration of futurism. It's not like, I don't think people understand how fast, instead of something used to take 10 years to mature, now you are going to see so many things that are happening in the marketplace, and futurism is here. For example, this company that I'm talking about, they actually specialize in implants that sit behind your retina eyes, and it actually restores vision for people with that degeneration. Okay. So we're going to be seeing implants, and that's what also neural network. Now, these got to be careful with these. I don't 100% trust these yet, but you are going to see things that are going to, some of them, we got to be careful of. But there's also, if you guys haven't saw videos of people also having something called exoskeletons, where you are going to be seeing people that are in wheelchairs be able to not just get an implant, but use robotic exoskeletons. And then again, they're going to be able to, you guys have seen this where, they don't have an arm, now they have a prosthetic arm. So we are literally setting things up in this market. So you guys know, and this is also in combination with wealth in technology, because that's the goal of this show, is to give you not just a bunch of information, but either A, how can you think about the future so that you get prepared for the future, but also it is to give you insight into how can you actually take that data, store it into your, also your, not just startup, but also maybe there's also an investment play here, or just think about it, right? Because this market is projected to hit, drum roll, $15 billion by 2035. Okay, this exoskeleton futurism, this is going to be a play that you want to look at. All right. So what's brilliant about Science Corp is that they didn't wait 20 years to build a full brain upload. They target a specific condition. And so you guys are going to see that coming to play. All right. Like I said, $15 billion market, going to go absolutely crazy. All right. Now, those are the stories of today. Now we're going to switch gears just a little bit, where we are going to now talk about, this is the segment of the show where I want to help you generate more wealth with technology. All right. In the technology space, this is one of my favorite things to talk about. And so it's going to be based on data. And so this is one of my favorite parts of the show. And I'm going to give you insights into stocks based on stories, based on data. I told you guys, I don't make guesstimates. I look at the data, and then the data drives the decisions. Okay. So this is, again, to prepare you for the future. And the future is when? It's now. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Elon Musk says something pretty crazy this week, and you could either be open. You could say, listen, Elon says a bunch of crazy stuff. You don't like Elon, but I kind of tend to, like I said, sometimes when I look at somebody and I say, I don't take anybody's advice. And I tell people this all the time, don't listen to people with a grain of salt, even me, or even people that you follow. Listen to people with a grain of salt. Follow the data. The data is where everything is, not people's opinions, guys. Let me say that again. The data is where you get the most insight, not just people's opinions. Okay. I want to make sure that's perfectly clear. So you want to make sure that you understand this. So Elon Musk this week said that by 2036, money won't matter. Let me show you guys. I don't know if some of you have heard that, but Elon Musk said that money won't matter. Can y'all believe that? Money won't matter. Okay. This is what he said. He said in about 10 years, Elon said money won't matter. What do you guys think about that? Post below what you think about that. Says the guy who's worth $1 trillion, right? But what he said, let me show you guys this article that so you guys can see it. Basically, he said that He said money won't matter, and then he rolled out X money. So money won't matter, but I'm gonna roll out X money. Come on, Elon, get it together, baby. So he dropped, like I said, he dropped his X money, but I do believe that there's some truth to what he's saying, because what's happening is, and you want to pay attention to this as well. What his thesis is, he says this, that AI and robotics will create such radical abundance, producing more goods and services than we can consume, right? So the cost of living will plummet. Now, most of us don't understand it, but the cost of living in some of these countries and everywhere is getting crazy. The national debt of everything is starting to go crazy in some of these countries, right? So, but I want you guys to understand this, like our entire fiat currency system is based on scarcity and debt, okay? So I told you guys this in the beginning, when there's an abundance of something, and you need to get this lesson, watch this, this is so powerful. When there is an abundance of something, the cost of something goes down, okay? When there's scarcity, and that's why money, paper objects, paper currency became popular, because when something isn't scarce, right? When something isn't scarce, the cost goes down. When something is scarce, and that's how they scare a lot of people. When they say something is scarce, that's when the cost goes up. If there's a car and there's only 5 of them, what do you think is going to have more intrinsic value, right? The car that makes 5 of them. But if you make thousands of a car, right? And that's why sometimes, that's why I told you have to be diligent in the way you listen to information. Because some people will tell you something, give you scarcity, and then tell you something is going to not be pricing. That's why I told you, I don't listen to people. I listen to data. That's why people say, oh my God, energy and the cost of living is going to be crazy. Well, there's always a dark period before there's a light period. And I believe, and one of my biggest things that I want you guys to understand is, like, I believe that technology is not as demonized as people make it. I believe that because of the creators like us, we have the power to build something so powerful, and we just have to have the tools, the systems, the resources, and you don't even have to have a lot of resources these days because of the democratization of what's happening with the cost of everything. Look at how much it used to cost to build out tools. You used to have to find developers. Not saying you don't need one, just saying that used to be the gameplay. Now that has changed. Okay, so what I believe is going to happen is that robots and AI is going to create more goods, because there's going to be you guys are going to see a rapid, fast sort of increase in production of goods and services, because that's why, if you see the play, here's another play too, so you guys understand what's happening. It has nothing to do with politics, but as you guys are seeing in the US right now, there's a lot when it comes to, and it comes with a lot of countries, there's a lot of focus on, people that are not from that country, right? So there's a lot of, they call them illegal aliens. Well, if you look on the surface, you would believe politically that, oh my God, like people, there's this politicalized thing where, oh my God, it's all about illegal aliens not being in the country. It's bigger than that. If you look underneath the surface and you look at the data, I'll tell you what it's about. It's about the fact that most companies and even other governments before this was letting people into the country and not checking statuses, right, when they had the power to. For what reason? And I'm going to speak boldly. Well, the reason was because of cheap labor. Okay, I'm not going to say that's the 100% the reason. That was part of the reason, was cheap labor. Now, why am I saying this? Because you are going to see a radical increase in a lot of factory positions, but they're not going to be held by regular people, in my opinion. They're going to be held by robots, because there needs to be an increase in goods and services, which means that the cost of things go down. So it is my opinion that, again, it gets worse before it gets better. So we're looking at the worst times, in my opinion. But again, technology, as we start to have this abundance of futurism, what's going to happen is that the cost of things go down. So that should make you feel good. That should make you feel good. That's just my prediction. As I like to make predictions, I believe that that is what is happening. All right. So let me go ahead and transition. Let me give you guys a couple app ideas. Post below if you're excited when I give you actual app ideas as we go through this. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the sections if you love this part of the show where I actually give you app ideas. So in this part of the show, I actually give you ideas that me and my team have researched, and is to give you that insight into what is happening. So app idea number one, take notes. All right. These are I wish I could pursue these, but unfortunately I am building apps built with AI, which I will tell you guys about as a tool of the week. But app idea number one, it is compliance cop for AI models, right? So one of the things is, and I always connect it with the show, with OpenAI, Anthropic pushing for massive AI regulations to protect themselves, every enterprise is going to need compliance software. So here's a stat. The global AI governance market projected to jump from $1.1 billion to $13 billion, 13x by 2035. So here's the idea that you can take on. The idea is you can build a lightweight API wrapper that basically audits a company's internal AI usage against when these new federal frameworks come. All right. Now, how to build an MVP. If you don't know what an MVP is, it stands for minimal viable product. You can actually build a dashboard that logs all the prompts, all the generations, and also generates a compliance reports. And enterprises charges $500 a month because there's going to be regulations around AI. That's just my opinion. And companies, watch this, with regulations comes regulations for the people that are using it. So there's going to be certain things that you're going to be able to do with AI. There's going to also be certain things that companies can't do with AI. And also there's going to be compliance because there's money to be made in compliance. All right. So if you are watching this, listen, I tell people this all the time. The money is not, and hear me clearly, the money isn't. And when you hear people generalize things, don't believe them. Like when you hear people say, oh my God, there's a SaaS apocalypse coming, or there's a technology, they're trying to sell you their thing. That's that they have a unconscious bias. It's not that, yes, there's companies that are going to fail. That's going to happen. It has nothing to do with the fact that people don't buy software or are not going to use software anymore. That's completely off base. What I will tell you though, is that you need to go where the fish is. If you're still trying to build software, you're trying to build apps that are not going in the right direction, you're going to lose your shirt. You're going to lose a lot of time building something that nobody wants. That's not what I want for you. All right. So make sure compliance, you can start to think about compliance. It is going to jump 13x by 2035. This is $1 billion industry right now. It's going to be a $13 billion industry. And I'm going to give you guys a bonus. I'm going to give you guys a bonus app idea that you can build. I said this happened to us about 2 weeks ago. And I'm thinking about building it and baking it into our software. But if you were to build an API, okay, if you don't know, it just is a programming interface. What it means is, like, as a lot of these companies, they run off of AI, or they run off of OpenAI, and they run off of Anthropic as well. All right. And so a lot of these systems are boosted by APIs. And so what you need to understand, and what the money is saving companies money. Well, it happened to us about 2 weeks ago where we were hacked. Our API was hacked. And we protect our API, but unfortunately, sometimes you just cannot avoid when hacking happens. Somebody wants to hack you, they'll hack you. You can do security audits and you can help, but it just happens. And so, imagine if there was a software or there was some type of platform that allow for people to store their API keys in and also audit their API to make sure that it's secure and everything. Go build that. I just gave some of you guys $1 million idea. Like, let me just tell you, go where the fishes are. Go, like, and technology is not about trying to raise $1 billion, in my opinion. Hear me clearly. All right, I want you guys to hear this. The reason why I tell you that the future is now is because it's not about trying to raise a bunch of capital. You can raise capital, but if you don't know how to sell your product, you're going to run out of cash, like what just happened with some of the stories I just showed you, because I'm not impressed when a company tells me, oh, I sold my company for $20 billion. I'm like, okay, well, how much did you keep? Right? So a person can sell their company for $5 million. And if it costs them, let's say $500,000 or $1 million to create it, you just pocketed $4 million. I'm saying before tax, all right? before the government tries to come and get their piece, I'm like, what did y'all do? But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. So you guys get this. Post below if you are getting a lot of insight. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this out, because again, I give a lot of gems and I give a lot of amazing data-driven decisions to, again, make sure that we are constantly democratizing technology. So that's why I give you this insight, give you ideas to show you that you go where the fish are. Don't go and try to build something for the sake of just building it. Build something that is a major pain point for companies. All right, app idea number two. App idea number two. It also talked about connection to what we talked about today, which is open source model marketplace, right? I talked about in the video with open source models, okay? The open source market is growing 21% a year, headed towards $50 billion. So here's the app idea. You could build a marketplace for fine-tuned open source models. A market, for example, like a marketplace where a law firm can buy, say, different things like contract law, or a hospital can buy a fine tune on radiology, right? So basically the MVP, which stands for the minimal viable product, would be a directory site that hosts the models and one-click deployment, boom, and you can be a marketplace. You can take 15% cut of everything. Again, there's so many different ways to generate wealth with technology that I tell people I don't like to hear excuses about things. All right, let's go ahead with a bonus number 3. Let me give you guys a bonus number 3 for this show. Bonus number 3, all right, which is app idea number 3, okay? This is called, and this is more not just for companies, but let me give you guys this idea as well. I like this idea. This is a great idea. This is called the ad brain. All right, write this down. There is and this is more simple than going after companies. This is for everyday business owners. Right now, businesses are throwing Facebook at, they're throwing a lot of money at Facebook and Google ads, and they don't know what's working. And I told you guys, people pay for complicated problems to be solved, right? So we also have this problem right now, and it is how to create different ads and have a ad brain that allows for me to come up with different creatives. So here's the idea. This is the bonus number 3 I'm gonna give you guys. If you don't have an idea, I'm giving you app ideas, like I said, that can be worth a lot of money. If you make a lot of money, like I always like to joke and say, if you make a lot of money from this, go ahead and send me a message. And also, out of your portion, just buy me a house in Thailand or Bali. I promise you, I will love you. All right? But ideas are nothing without implementation. So I can give you an idea. Like I was just telling somebody last week, ideas are worthless. They were like, oh, what if my idea is stolen? Ideas are worthless if they're not implemented, okay? So here, let me finish this app idea for you guys before we wrap up today's show. Here's the idea and how it will work. You can actually build a ad platform, not a platform, but there are so many different APIs, Hicksfield, so many different platforms. You can actually build an AI tool that connects to business owners' ad accounts. And watch this, it's so powerful. You can do analyzations on their headlines, their images, call to actions, what's actually converting. And then once you see what's converting for them, you could generate new ads based on what's already working. All right. Here's the MVP. Let me give you the MVP, the minimum viable product. So you would have a simple app. It will connect to Meta Ads and Google Ads via API. All of them have APIs, right? This is just a data point that you could connect into their platform. And what you could do is pull the 90 days of performance data, and then you would use a learning language model such as OpenAI, Claude's API, and you would have the business owner be able to generate 10 new ad variations ranked by predicted performance. Here's how you make money from it. You could charge $49 a month. Like, let me ask you a question, right? Would I pay every single month for a subscription that's just sitting there? Or would I pay $49 a month if you had a tool? And this is what I tell so many business owners, and that's why when I coach people, I tell them this one true axiom, so to speak. It isn't about creating any new company. It isn't about just creating a future. It is about solving a deep pressing problem. And if somebody has a problem, they're going to pay every month. Like, there are softwares that honestly I've been paying for 4 years. There's people on our platforms that have been paying every single month for 10 years. Okay, I'm sorry, 7, 8 years. There's people who've literally been paying every single month. I was looking at it. It was so funny. I was looking at the some of the subscriptions that came in, and I recognized the name. I'm like, oh my God, this person still is paying every single month for the past 7 years. Don't just think about new ideas in the broad scope of a dark place of like, oh, I'm just going to build something for the sake of building something. Don't just invest in something because an expert told you to invest in it. Don't just pursue a purpose or a career because somebody told you to do it, right? It has nothing to do with it. Do it because you've thought through the process and you've said, I'm going to commit to this process. I know this can solve the pain point of many people. And I also know that this is a pain point for people. Guys, with the ad stuff, I just don't have the time because we are building our new platform. But let me just tell you something. If you can not just create, watch this. If it's just, let me create a tool that's going to generate ads. No. Let me go a little bit deeper. Let me analyze a business's ad performance via API, which isn't hard to connect to. Let me then create ads based off of top performers, and I can give this person way newer creatives and guess what it does? It makes them more money. That's the exchange of value, ladies and gentlemen. Don't make building your companies or making money more complicated than that. Okay? Everybody got it? Let me know in the chat. Everybody got it? Everybody got it? Let me know in the chat if this is valuable. It's been a valuable episode. All right, as we come to wrapping up this week's episode, all right, comment below real quick for me some topics that you would love to hear me talk about as we expand this show. All right, as we expand the show, as I come out with more content, I just want to hear from the people that watch this show or in our community, As Built with AI. Comment below some topics that you would love to hear about, some things you want me to cover, because I am actually creating different topics, different content as we start to just expand. Like I said, the vision is very simple. It's a complex one, but it's a simple one at the same time. It is, again, to democratize this entire technology industry and for us to build globally and get ready for the future is now, right? And so what I'm going to also talk about on the next couple of episodes is some industries that are rapidly, I know we talk about business a lot, but I want to also cover what's happening in industries that you need to be aware of, like the health and wellness space. There's so much going on in that. There's so much going on in the blockchain and the crypto space. That's one of the industries I always talk about. And there's just so many industries, guys, that are being democratized. And it might seem like a dark place that's happening. You might see like crypto is down, the markets are down. You might see all these different companies are down, but that's because there's always a darkness that leads to the light. Okay, so you're going to see a rapid acceleration, in my opinion, in the next 5 years of great companies. And you have a choice, my friends. You have a choice to be a part of the future or be dominated by the future. Did you guys hear that? Let me say that again. You have a choice to be dominated by the future or to be a part of the future. Okay. The choice is yours. All right. You can be a part of the future. You can be dominated by the future. The choice is yours. So the tool of the week, before we wrap up today's episode, the tool of the week is, drum roll, it's our tool. Apps built with AI. Let me just show you guys. I'm going to drop a link to the chat. We just went live, not with the app, but we just went live. As some of you know, we want to help you and assist you with democratizing the future. So I know you probably use platforms like Lovable and Bolt and so many others, but I'm here to tell you that there is a new sheriff in town and we are launching next month. All right. So with apps built with AI, new platform, you will be able to build websites with AI. Now, the difference, I know if you use Lovable or other platforms, it just what's the difference? Well, we are solving problems because we are going to be the first platform that comes out with the ability to create a PRD. So you get to plan out your entire platform and have, what's a PRD? It stands for Product Requirements Document. So you will be able to understand what the pain points of the market is and then essentially build it right into our platform. We will also be having different agents. There will be what we call a AI testing agent that never sleeps. That means if you build on our platform, it will be one of the first platforms that will test your app while you are asleep. And essentially what it will do is find bugs as you build the future. And we're going to have so many different things like the marketing agent. There is no AI platforms, coding platforms that allow for you to sell your platforms. There's a difference between building the future and actually marketing the future. So we will be the first platform that will allow for you to have a marketing agent to find your customers and sell it, and so many other things. Tonight wasn't designed to sell it to you. It is to tell you that you don't want to miss out on partnering with us, because as we've been building our community to 80,000 of you, we are going to be building this up even bigger. Comment congratulations in the chat if you are excited. I'm building the future with you. All right. Also, if you will be this weekend, I will be speaking at a 30,000 person conference, which is we have sponsored. And also, if you are at InvestFest, we will also be at InvestFest this weekend. Me and my team will be there. You guys can see on the actual, this is about 30,000 people that are coming. All right. Which is, I'm excited about, but 30,000 people. I wish I could find partners. There you guys see, we are now partners with Apps Built with AI is now partnering up with InvestFest. So 30,000 people will see our amazing platform. I'm excited. See, I told you guys, you got to constantly be building out the future. So make sure you go to appsbuiltwithai.com. Post below. You can get on the wait list before next month because you don't want to miss out on what is being built. All right, so make sure that you join our wait list. My team will post it below, but it's just appsbuiltwithai.com. Get on the wait list. Make sure you don't miss out because we're going to be giving away 100 credits, and you can literally just type to AI and build the future with us. Listen, let me know in the comments what you thought about today's episode. With that being said, this has been another episode of Tech Thursdays. Like I said, leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts about what you want to learn, some improvements to the show. I want to cultivate this. We're going to be in the fancy studio next month, and I'm going to be really dissecting the future of what is happening in this space. So comment below. Get on the wait list to the Apps Built with AI because we are releasing our tool next month. I'm excited. We'll be working hard on it. We are here again too, and I say I'm here too, to assist you in your evolution in the technology space because I wish that somebody was there to help me as well to understand all this. And so that's what I'm doing. I try to break it down into simplistic form. There's tech shows, but I just feel like even me, I'd be like, what are they talking about? So I wanted to create this to basically break everything down and give you that excitement into what's happening. So again, Apps Built with AI, I'm excited. I appreciate you. Leave a comment below. Let's go. And I'll see you guys on the next episode of Tech Thursdays, y'all. Peace.